afternoon, folks. Everybody's doing the victory jig. The liberal guys in the US, the liberal guys all across the world. It's finally here. Democracy beats deep in heart of America, as is written. It's time to come together as a nation. It's time for America to unite and to heal Joe Biden. Right on dot, Modi sends congrats. Relief in Delhi as known India ally is back. Things may not be as up in your face in terms of trade and H1 India is concerned. A lot of India's sensibilities will be watched out for what's important. Look at, a lot of people said this is a democracy in disarray, it's a democracy that's threatened, but look what came out. To my mind, it was the victory of democracy. Every vote was counted. And more so, it brought the legitimacy and authenticity of the count is important to note. It was done at the state level. It was done by normal volunteers, which is very different from what we do here at the Election Commission, which in my mind it becomes dubious. When something is controlled by the government and that too at the center, you will always have, in my view, doubts about how the system works. Not only that, the counting was live streamed, and I think this is a process that, in example, that Indian democracy should follow too. Also, just remember, this is incredible. The rules and regulations for elections and counts are done by the state, not by the center. People who are talking about election commission in the United States will decide on the 14th and whatever, but there's nothing called the election commissioner in the United States. Each state will call the election out, and there is nothing that either the president can do except file lawsuits. And in most cases, anybody who's watched the count are not going anywhere. Remember, this is the record. Trump goes on and says 70 million voters came out. It's a divided country right down the middle, because if 70 million came down, voters came for him, 79 million voters came for Biden. So there are both sides to the same coin. The important part at this stage is for this president, and it could be difficult too, is that he has to listen to both. This democracy brought out both sides of the divide, which is rural versus urban, educated versus uneducated, colored versus uncolored. It was right in your face right through the campaign and the aftermath now. The jubilation out on the streets just shows the angst that most of the people have suffered through 3 years. So did democracy shine? Yes, slightly traumatized, but institutions held strong. Transition in my mind will be challenging, but eventually it will happen because the institutions will hold. For people who have been hearing, you will already note the feds, the security forces are already working as they should be for a transition, which is important to note. Even the president cannot stop that. What's happening in India, which is important to note, Gupta alliance to contest local body elections in J&K. Alliance members criticize abruptness of elections to District Development Council scheduled to be held between December 1 and 24th, but they will participate. That tells me maybe the outer limits of negotiations have been set, but eventually they understand that without participating in politics and political systems, it will be difficult for them to move ahead. What's happening, as I said, in my good old Bihar? Exit polls give edge to RJD-led alliance. I'm going to stretch out further. I think RJD and alliance will take it on its own. What do we have this? Facebook flags as false Himanta post on pro-Pak slogan. Himanta, right? Himanta. He's sitting in one of the most sensitive states of India. For him to run this Hindu-Muslim divide is absolutely unpardonable, because it's technically working against national interest, because it will hurt our relationship with Bangladesh. On the good news, Goldman Sachs puts 150 million in Biocon R. I think India can be in play if all our economic institutions are liberalized and are not something that keeps the laws are formalized and are not subject to change. We are in a good space, folks.